We're past the halfway point in the F4 UAE Championship 2024. It's time for race 3, round 3 here on the Dubai Autodrome. Now, at this point of a race weekend, having fresh tyres available is a massive advantage. Obviously, you don't have that many sets of tyres to play with, but what you would really ideally want going into the third race is a perfect box set, fresh set of tyres on all 4 wheels. However, there are some that are only going to have a half fresh set and some that are not going to have a fresh set at all. It all comes down to what drivers have preferred. Going for broke in race 1 and 2, or keeping a little bit in reserve, hoping for a strong result in race 3. It could make for a very entertaining third and final race of the F4 UAE weekend here in Dubai. So without further ado, let's have a look at how things are likely to play out. Racing at the Dubai Autodrome usually provides as many dramas as it does overtakes, so we could be in for a thrilling weekend for the third round of F4 UAE 2024. Here's how things stack up heading into the contest. The rapid rise of the Mumbai Falcons in F4 continues in earnest, as Freddie Slater holds a decent advantage, and both Kian Nakamura-Berta and Alex Powell have proven they have what it takes to catch him. For Dion Gouda, we'll finally be able to see his true mettle after recovering from an early illness. The Yazheed Academy come off the back of their strongest weekend in the championship, after 2 wins for Keanu Al-Azari back-to-back in Abu Dhabi. Also, it's worth remembering that Zach Scholar has made an instant impression in his car racing debut, so there are 2 bright stars herein. Prema Racing continued to shine in F4, but it was mixed fortunes in all 3 races a fortnight ago for Rashid Al Daheri, the Emirati, and French starlet Dorian Pain. Both have shown that they can win races and have the speed to play for silverware. If qualifying goes well, wins will not be a big shock. The British quartet at High-Tech Pulse 8 continue to banter, badinage and battle, not just with their opponents, but with each other. Gabriel Stilp, Deegan Fairclough, Reza Sawerthan and Sebastian Murray are rarely seen apart in the paddock, and it's strength in numbers that keep them in contention. In F4, it hasn't been a bed of roses so far for PHM AIX, and Nikita Bedrin hasn't quite made the impact he'd have hoped for, despite a win in the opening weekend. But the team has more than enough resource and sagacity to return to the top spot, with Everett Stack, Max Popov and Kamal Murad all chasing their first win. The Santalog team have been frustrated by disappointment. Matteo Quintarelli and Yvan David could and should have double their current tallies, and Max Restrepo will want more from round 3. But now they're joined by RHGP refugee Jules Caranta. Expect more terrific racecraft on the horizon. One of the teams of the year has to be AGI Sport, who have made excellent progress on their competitive debuts. The squad is depleted for round 3 as 2 drivers have returned home, but Jack Beaton and Nicola Stati are determined to keep putting the Aussies on the scoreboard as often as possible. There have been tough times for RHGP at the start of the year, but alongside Lucas Amalisto, Enzo Ye and Rafael Narak, now emerges Red Bull's young Frenchman, Enzo de Ligny. He's already been talking up the chances of podiums, so expect the Red Bull colours to launch RHGP up the table. Musical Chairs is XL Motorsport's favourite game these days, with the team shuffling its deck again. Alvis Rodella and Thiago Rodriguez are once again joined by Chuyan Pu of China, who arguably didn't really show his true potential last time out. His charge through the pack did give us a subtle hint though. Pinnacle managed to bank some points last time out with Kai Dadianani, but there could have been a lot more had misfortune not spoiled their fun. But the pace is there, and that's what counts. So there's a chance that both he and teammate Fu Yuhao can elevate the team even higher with a good performance. Whilst Formula 1 hasn't allowed an 11th team on the grid, F4 UAE has, with XGP making their debut this weekend. Liu Kaishun moves across from sister outfit XL, with UAE-based Luxembourger Chester Kiefer making his debut. Both drivers can have it tough to mix it at the front, but never say never. We're down at Mumbai Falcons, and one of the top young rookies coming into F4 in 2024 here in the UAE is Alex Powell from Miami in Florida. Alex, good to see you, buddy. How are things so far?
Yeah, it's nice to be back. So far, it's been a bit of a tough championship. First 2 rounds weren't exactly what we wanted it to be, but at the end of the day, there was solid improvement between both rounds. I got my first pole in F4, which was nice, and also first podium, but obviously looking to build on that for the coming rounds and obviously for the rest of the year as well.
Now, you have the distinction of being the youngest racing driver in history ever to be signed to a Formula 1 junior program. You've been with Mercedes a few years now. The relationship's obviously going to only build from here, and now we've just learnt that the landscape of the team has changed a little bit. So championships like this are obviously really going to help in terms of raising your stock.
Right, of course. Yeah, I mean, as you said, we've been with each other for a few years, and obviously over the years, the relationship it keeps building, and we keep getting stronger together as a team. So obviously, with their support, I've been able to come a long way, and yeah, hopefully we can continue to work together for the years to come. And as you mentioned, also a bit of a change up for the coming years. But at the moment, my job is just to do well in my own category, and then we'll see once I get further up. But yeah, with the continued support of them, I think that we can really build something good. Their support is, I mean, obviously always exceptional, and to be around such a well-known team and a team built, I think, from the ground up in every area, I think they're almost perfect. So obviously building on that will be good for the coming years, and then we'll see where it takes us.
So let's talk about life in the UAE. Obviously, the first two races on the Yas Marina circuit, very different race circuit compared to here at Dubai Autodrome. What are your first impressions of this place?
To be honest, I didn't get much track running in the first session, but generally speaking, you know, Yas Marina it's a track that I haven't really been to another one similar to that. It's got its own characteristics, and it's really a special place to race around, especially at night. And then coming here, you know, we've only done the first session as I mentioned before, and it's like a completely sandy, no grip on the track, so it's quite bumpy as well. So it's like a completely different landscape compared to the first two rounds. So it's going to take some getting used to. I think we need to be on it for the rest of the weekend, because really we don't have that much time left to really get on pace and be ready for the third round. But yeah, as you said before, it's a completely different circuit, and it's good. It's good to get the different circuits to try and improve as much as possible, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. We're here to improve and try to get better. But yeah, it's going to be a tough race weekend, I think, for sure. But it's going to be the same for everyone.
Now, it's an interesting situation you have here at Prema and Mumbai Falcons. Coming into this season, it must feel a little bit like deja vu. You've still got Kier Nakamura-Berta and Freddie Slater as teammates, like you were in the karting days. Is it always a bit unusual having that sort of aspect of having to be in a very selfish sport where you're focusing very much on, you know, what you can do compared to the other drivers around you?
Yeah. As you said, you know, it's the same teammates that I had pretty much coming from karting. So at the end of the day, from one aspect, you know, it's a similar atmosphere, stepping up from karting, and then from another one, you know, as you mentioned, you're racing for yourself, you know, and at the end of the day, it's good when you have solid teammates, because obviously you have good references all the time, and together collectively as a team we can build. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's pretty much every man for themselves.
Now, an interesting backstory for you. Obviously, you've been born and raised in Miami, Florida, but there's another nation's heritage in your family as well. Everybody over in Kingston Town in Jamaica has obviously been rooting for you all the way, and your uncle Asafa already has amazing success behind him. What's it going to be like when you eventually get to walk into the pinnacles of motor racing, not just representing Miami, but also representing Jamaica as well?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, to have the support not only from one country but from multiple, I think it's something that not many people get to experience, and I'm very fortunate and glad that I get to experience that. But then again, you know, I feel like I'm carrying most of the Caribbean with me as well. You know, it's not only Jamaica, it's a lot of the Caribbean, because at the end of the day, it's all of their support together. So I'm looking forward to the day that hopefully I reach to the top level of motorsport, and then I can sort of carry the whole nation, the Caribbean, and obviously the United States as well. But yeah, I mean, I feel the support from back home. I really do, and I want to make it for them, because I think it will open a lot of doors for the younger generation as well. So as of yet, I just need to keep working to reach that goal.
Final question. You obviously told us in the press that you're going to be racing in both the Italian and Euro 4 competitions later this year. Coming here to the UAE to wipe off the cobwebs and do a full race program before you go into that, how big a difference does that actually make to your preparation? How valuable has it been? It's
very valuable. You know, at the end of the day, you can do as much seat time as you want, but nothing beats race experience. And here in the UAE, we have five rounds, 3 races each round, so we have loads of time to shake off the cobwebs and really try and get as much experience in before the Italian Championship. Because at the end of the day, you know, in the Italian also we don't have that many rounds, so we need to be on it in every single race. So to be here to get all the experience in, I think it's super valuable, and it's something that I'm happy that I'm able to do it, that we're fortunate enough to be here to get all the rounds in, to be as prepped and as ready to go when the Italian starts in May.
Well, there's thousands of people watching you and hoping that you can continue this fantastic rise up through the ranks. We wish you all the best for this weekend, and hopefully there's more silverware on the way. Good luck for it.
So thank you very much. Thank you.
Time to go racing for the last time this weekend in the F4 UAE Championship 2024. The third round of this championship at Dubai Autodrome, and it has been a sensational battle leading up to this point. There's a lot of great racing that we can already talk about from the first two races yesterday. If you didn't watch them, make sure you bookmark them on your motorsport.tv feed or on your Facebook or on your YouTube accounts. There is plenty of great racing. Yesterday's second race in particular, the reverse grid race, probably contained the best 15 minutes of Formula 4 racing I have ever seen in my life, and I've been watching it for about a decade now in various different guises in different locations, and I can honestly put my hand on my heart and say that was absolutely worth getting up for. So now here we are, ready for the third race of the weekend here at Dubai Autodrome. Great to have your company. Jake Sanson with you here at Dubai Autodrome, overlooking the start-finish line. And wow, is it going to be an exciting battle in this one, particularly after the developments of last night. If you were watching race 2 yesterday, you'll be aware of the fact that the race victory ended up going the way of a fabulous battle for Alex Powell, who we've actually just heard from, ironically enough. I didn't plan that, it just that's the way it ended up going. He took the victory from Keanu Al-Azari and Jack Beaton, with Freddie Slater crossing the line in 4th position. However, post-race, there are a few drivers that were handed some penalties. One of those was the number 6, that's Gabriel Stilb, who had problems during the race and ended up getting a 5-second penalty. But more dramatically, the number 27, Freddie Slater, championship leader, was also given a 5-second penalty for track limits infringement, I do believe. And that means that he was dropped from 4th position all the way down to 10th. And that definitely is good news for the Yas Heat Academy and Keanu Al-Azari, who came home in 2nd place and now has a score of 115 to Freddie Slater on 123. The gap is only 8 points now. So suddenly, the boy from Dubai, Keanu Al-Azari, has a fabulous opportunity here to potentially, in this race, take the lead of the championship. It genuinely could happen, and it's looking very strong in terms of pace at the moment. So it's a fascinating situation. Essentially now, both drivers in the Championship 5, Freddie Slater and Keanu Al-Azari, have had very strong scores and not finishing outside the top 5, apart from Freddie Slater on 1 occasion, apart from Keanu Al-Azari on 2 occasions. So it's very, very close now between the two drivers, and it really is a battle royale for the championship. There is Keanu Al-Azari to the left of your picture in the number 11 with the fluorescent yellow nose tip in the Yas Heat Academy car. He lives not too far away from here, just off the marina, and a fabulous opportunity for him on home soil. He now has to take the lead of the championship. Last week, of course, he was racing here in the Dubai 24 hours, would you believe? Certainly the youngest on the grid for that event, and possibly the youngest driver ever to compete in the 24 hours of Dubai. And at many times during the course of the race, he was actually consistently the fastest Porsche driver during his stint. So very impressive work from Keanu Al-Azari, and definitely a talent to watch out for. He's not on pole position, though. That goes the way of Nikita Bedrin, who is there in position once again for the PHM AIX team. They had a fabulous run yesterday, taking the first race victory in both F4 and Formula Regional across the 2 categories, and they collected a lot of silverware last night. So they've got a very strong day in the prospect again this morning for Nikita Bedrin, hoping to take a second victory of the weekend. Managed to get the job done in race 1, of course, and then Alex Powell did the business yesterday. So, very dramatic stuff over the course of the last 24 hours. Kia Nakamura Berta lines up 3rd position on the grid for this one. Of course, he won the very first race of the season on his car racing debut, so he's one to watch out for, especially considering he's going to be sharing the 2nd row of the grid with Freddie Slater, who they don't exactly have the best history. That's probably the most politically correct way of putting it, but they have a fantastic team that they're racing for, the Mumbai Falcons. They are teammates, but they're definitely working themselves up to a plethora of a rivalry. 5th position on the starting grid, Rashid Al Daheri, easily the driver of the day in race 2 yesterday. He went from 32nd on the grid to charge his way through to 14th position in 2 laps, which is absolutely extraordinary. He eventually ended up coming home in 8th on the road. He was promoted to 7th thanks to Freddie Slater's penalty. So what a comeback, it has to be said, by Rashid Al Daheri. Absolutely amazing, and easily the driver of race 2, and hoping for much more than that, considering he's going to be starting from 5th on the grid. Then Deegan Fairclough, the British driver, who basically had 2 nightmares yesterday, ended up getting tangled up in the first incident at race 1, which also took out Rashid Al Daheri and Matteo Quintarelli, unfortunately. So Deegan Fairclough really hoping that race 3 has something to write home about. 7th on the grid. I've been very impressed all weekend with the driver from Macau, Thiago Rodriguez, the reigning Chinese F4 champion. A lot of people have had a lot of naysay about competitors racing in the Chinese series, thinking, well, they're not really at the same sort of standard as anywhere else. Oh, are you wrong? Thiago Rodriguez has come into the XL Motorsport team this year, has done a lot of hard work. The first 2 rounds at Yaz didn't go to plan, but this weekend at Dubai, he's nailed it. He's right up there in the top 10. He deserves to be, and is working very hard indeed to make improvements. So very good work indeed from Thiago Rodriguez. 8th on the grid, another man making massive strides, Zach Scholar, who really had another 2 miserable races yesterday. He got a puncture on the final lap of race 1 when he was battling in the top 5 at one point, so very unfortunate for him. And we're hoping that he's going to have a little bit more to do in this 3rd race. 9th on the grid, it is the young Red Bull junior, Enzo Deligny, who is in his first weekend in the championship here in F4. Certainly not his first weekend in F4 at all, though, because, of course, he was racing full-time in the Spanish championship last year. He lines up 9th on the grid for this one, alongside Dorian Pain, who did fantastic work in both Yas Marina and Dubai. Over the course of yesterday, she didn't have the results she wanted, but her racecraft was absolutely exceptional. So hopefully there are some points on the horizon for her from this particular race. 11th on the grid is Alex Powell, race 2 winner, who went from 32nd on the grid in race 1 to get the reverse grid pole for race 2 and then go on to win it. Sorry, didn't quite get the reverse grid pole. He actually ended up in 10th position, which was good enough for 1 championship point, but was ultimately good enough for 3rd on the reverse grid yesterday, which meant he could charge his way through to the victory. So very good work indeed in the end for Alex Powell. Jack Beaton, the Australian talent, who's been a bit of a rocket launcher this weekend, lines up 12th on the starting grid. So it'll be very interesting to see what the AGI Sport driver can do as he continues to add points to the Aussie debutante's tally. So very good work all the way through. There are a few other drivers that we'll talk about in detail as we go through the formation lap, because there are 33 in all. The biggest problem out there is Lucas Samalisto. He did very well in qualifying 1 initially, and then had an accident during qualifying 1, which meant he wasn't able to get out for qualifying 2. So he'll have to start this race from the back of the grid. Very unfortunate indeed for him. So we're on the formation lap then. And let's talk our way through the grid. Nikita Bedrin and Keanu Alazadi, front row of the grid. Expect some exciting battles between those two in the early stages. Kia Nakamura-Berta and Freddie Slater together on the 2nd row. 3rd row is Rashid Al Daheri and Deegan Fairclough. Then on the 4th row is Thiago Rodriguez and Zach Scholar. 5th row is Enzo Deligny and Dorian Pain. Then we have Alex Powell and Jack Beaton. Following them on the 7th row of the grid is Max Popov and Gabriel Stilp, 2 youngsters who are definitely going to be making waves. Then Dion Gouda, 15th on the grid, alongside Sebastian Murray, who has a good shot here from 16th on the grid. Hopefully he'll continue to make his rise forward for the High-Tech Pulsate team. Then it is Jules Caranta, who has switched across from Race GP to Santalok for the rest of the season. Kamal Murad for PHM AIX. He had problems with wings falling off. Hopefully that won't happen again today. Matteo Quintarelli completely caught out in the first race of the weekend in that first start line pile-up. Hopefully he'll have a much cleaner race from 19th on the grid. Enzo Ye lining up in 20th position at the starting grid. Then Chuyan Pu, the Chinese driver, part of the Mercedes Young Driver program. Then Alves Rodella, who got the reverse grid pole, and then it all fell apart, unfortunately, in race 2. Then Reza Suwerthan in the High-Tech Pulsate machine alongside Rafael Narak. The Luxembourger, Chester Kiefer, he lines up 25th on the grid along with Yu Kai-shun. And then Nicolas Stati, the Australian, in 27th position on the grid for AGI Sport, alongside Maxi Restrepo, the Colombian, who is masterminded by Juan Pablo Montoya. Yvan David has got a lot of work to do from 29th on the grid. They had a miserable qualifying session in qualifying 2, but Yvan David is one of those kind of drivers who really can charge through the field like the missile in Mario Kart. Kai Darianani hoping for a strong result, 30th on the grid for him in the Pinnacle, and then 31st is is Everett Stack, alongside Fu Yu Hao, the two drivers that actually came together in race 2 that brought out the safety car. Hopefully they'll stay away from each other this time. And then at the back of the grid, as I mentioned, Luca Samalisto is going to be there after not setting a lap time in qualifying 2 due to the fact that he'd had an incident already in qualifying 1. Now, there is a 3-place grid penalty that was handed out after race 2, and that has gone to the number 56 for causing a collision in race 2, and obviously car number 56, for those who've been following the championship all the way through, is the car belonging to Chuyan Pu. So he should have actually started the race in 18th, because that is where he finished, but he actually now gets a grid penalty. He should have been started 18th on the grid through to qualifying, but because of his incident and then eventually getting a penalty for doing so, he got a 3-place grid penalty for the next race he takes part in, which is obviously this one. So unfortunate for Chuyan Pu, the Chinese driver, but he is another one of those great talents. He, like Alex Powell, is part of the Mercedes F1 AMG Young Drivers program, so keep an eye on him. Definitely worth an interesting charge forward. So the last few competitors just making their way around. 33 cars in all in F4 UAE. I can remember the days when it was about a dozen or so. And it's amazing just how fantastic this sport has grown. Started and founded back in 2016 by a combination of Mohammed bin Sulayem, who of course is now the president of the FIA, and Matthew Norman, who now of course has a race team that he masterminds in Yazid Academy. So he's gone from poacher to gamekeeper, or is it the other way around? It's too early in the morning for getting the similes correct. So it'll be a fantastic situation. He's actually gone from poacher, he's actually gone from gamekeeper to poacher is what he's actually done. So anyway, could be a very interesting situation for the Yazid Academy, of course. They have a chance to take the lead of the championship with their man, Kiano Al-Azadi, from the front row of the grid. He's alongside Nikita Bedrin, race 1 winner. What can he do? Are we going to get 3 different race winners from the 3 races in F4 UAE here at Dubai? We're about to find out. The lights come on. When they go out, we'll race. Let's race to Dubai Autodrome. It's a good start from Bedrin, and Kiano Al-Azari's not falling for the swap. A brilliant decision from Kiano Al-Azari. Decides not to get caught out by Nikita Bedrin's chop. He goes the other way, and it's going to be 3 wide behind them as Rashid Al-Daheri tries to fend off the Mumbai Falcons. Deegan Fairclough's trying to come through to 3rd, and he's made it! Deegan Fairclough, what a start! Up in a 3rd position for the high-tech driver from Great Britain. Brilliant start from Deegan, and he's now 3rd position in front of the Mumbai Falcon pair and Rashid Al-Daheri. Magic start from the high-tech superstar. Deegan Fairclough in a 3rd position, and there's a problem at turn 1. We've got one of the excelled cars, I think that might even be the XGB car of Chester Keeper, has gone clean off at turn 1. No, it's the 35, that's Alves Rodella. So Alves Rodella is off at turn 1. He's gone a long way in though, so that might not be a safety car, but it's Bedrin who leads from Al-Azari, and Deegan Fairclough. What a start from the Brit. Absolutely amazing to charge his way through past the Mumbai Falcons, and that is Liu Kai-shun. So Liu Kai-shun having a problem, and it looks like someone else in trouble. Rashid Al-Daheri now going wheel to wheel with Deegan Fairclough. The Emirati versus the Brit. Into the hairpin, and Rashid Al-Daheri's going to try and get the switcheroo off the turn. Everybody else trying to stay out of harm's way. Yvan David charging through the field again, as Dorian Pin seems to have had a horrible start. And off the road goes Gabriel Stelp, I think, in the high-tech. Manages to get it going again and back onto the circuit. Safety car is called. So the safety car board is out on the main straight. There we go. And a very unhappy Alves Rodella. Just caught him kicking the Armco barrier there, so very unfortunate indeed for Alves Rodella. Very angry. Did not want to end his day before 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's all gone very badly wrong indeed for him. The safety car is out. It's caught up to the field already. So, take stock. Nikita Bedrin leads. Kiano Al-Azari 2nd. Deegan Fairclough in 3rd position. What a start from the high-tech Pole State driver. We were actually chatting about this yesterday. And I said, what's your tactics going into the races? It was all 3 of the... It was 3 out of the 4 high-tech drivers I was chatting with, because Gabriel Stilp was having a little bit of quiet time with Deegan Fairclough and Sebastian Murray. And I just chatted to them. What is your strategy on the starts? What is your strategy in racecraft? And Gabriel Stilp took one look at me and went, just go for it. Just send it, is basically what they do. And Deegan Fairclough said, yeah, what's the point of trying to race in this if you're not going to send it? You have to give it a go. And that's exactly what Deegan Fairclough has done at turn 1. launched his way forward from 6th on the grid to 3rd, and he's not just got past anybody, he's got past Rashid Al Daheri, one of the best overtakers in the business in this championship, Kia Nakamura-Berta, the man who won on his debut, and Freddie Slater, the man who leads the championship. So Deegan Fairclough not exactly doing things by halves, but what an impression he's made on this race already. So Bedrin leads, Al-Azhari 2nd, Fairclough is 3rd, then Rashid Al Daheri, Freddie Slater in 5th place, Nakamura-Berta is 6th, and then it's Zach Scholar, Thiago Rodriguez, Enzo Deligny, and Alex Powell, who got ahead of Gabriel Stilp when he ran wide. So Stilp is now in 11th. Then it is Jack Beaton ahead of Dion Gauda and Gilles Caranta, Sebastian Murray P15, then Kamal Murad, Max Popov, Matteo Quintarelli and Chuyan Pu. Dorian Paz had a horrible start, 10th on the grid, now 20th, so something's definitely gone wrong for her. As into the pits comes Chester Keefe for the Luxembourger. Not entirely sure what's happened there, but all sorts of issues down at XL and XGP, the two sister teams. And, well, it's looking rather unfortunate for Chester Kiefer. Is he about to switch the engine off and park it? Oh, and that's Enzo Ye. So Enzo Ye is also out of the car. So he's picked up damage on the opening lap, and I'm afraid that's game over for Enzo Ye as well. So we've now lost Ye, and we've lost Chester Kiefer because he's got out of the car as well. So we've now got retirements for Alves Rodella. There is his car. Chester Kiefer's parked it in the pit lane, and so too has Enzo Ye. Very unfortunate indeed there. So behind Dorian Pan, 21st is roughly on the rack. Then it is Kai Darianani, Ivan David, who's already shooting his way through the field, Max Restrepo, Nicolas Stati, Lucas Amalisto, Everett Stack, Fu Yuhao, and down on the back is Reza Suwerthan, which is very unfortunate. He was a bit of a firecracker in yesterday's race 1. And then, was it race 1 or was it race 2? It was actually race 2, my apologies. He ended up going over the back of Nikita Bedrin's wheel, unfortunately, and out of the race with too much damage. But very unfortunate indeed, as Reza Suwerthan was doing a terrific job up to that point, which, considering he's a Ginetta driver originally, is very impressive. Safety car in at the end of this lap. I did think it was going to be a quick safety car period, if it was going to be one at all, and they've called it quite late, but they're ready to go racing. So Nikita Bedrin's going to have to back them up at about the time when the previous safety car period, he was actually going for it. So as the safety car gets out of the way, we're now going to get to see an interesting restart. When is Nikita Bedrin going for it? I think he's just gone for it, actually. And he's going to have Keanu Al-Azhari on his tail. Deegan Fairclough's going to have pressure from Rashid Al Daheri. So the Yazheat colours, right up at the sharp end, the local team that has done some amazing work to bring young drivers out of karting, out of esports and into the world of real racing, and are going to continue with these amazing projects in the future. They've now got their boy in 2nd place and in 4th as well. Green, 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 green. We're off away again in Dubai Autodrome. And it's Bedrin, Al-Azhari, Fairclough, Al Daheri. Al Daheri's looking racy. Up behind Fairclough. He's going to try and make the bid for 3rd position. Can he get him around the outside of turn 1? Fairclough's going to keep the car very prominent on the inside line. Moves across from one side to the other. Al Daheri's still got a fast car underneath him, though. And Freddie Slater's trying to get himself into the mix as well in 5th place. Freddie Slater leading the championship, but only by 8 points. He needs to make progress here because Al-Azhari is in 2nd and Slater is in 5th. That means that if it stays like this, it's going to be a dead heat in the championship going to the 4th round. Al-Azhari has an 8-point deficit to Slater. If Slater finishes 5th and Al-Azhari finishes in 2nd, they will be matched on points as Dorian Pan has come into the pits and got out again. So it's unfortunately an extended test session for her now. Keanu Al-Azhari all over the back of Bedrin, and he's trying to get the slipstream. Is this going to be the bid from Keanu Al-Azhari? He really is attacking. Bedrin knows he's coming to the braking zone. And Bedrin is going to make sure Al-Azhari doesn't have any space to play with at all. Al-Azhari's going to keep his foot in. Bedrin's going to drift wide. Very wide by all accounts. Al-Azhari's still got a run here. In the braking zone for the right-hander. Patience is a virtue in this sport. Al-Azhari's working his magic, but he can't just afford to go gung-ho as into the pits to retire comes one of the high-tech Pulse 8s. I think that is going to be Reza Suwerthan. Still damage to that car after yesterday, so I'm afraid his race just ended. So now we've only got 29 cars running. Al-Azhari sizing up an opportunity on Nikita Bedrin again as Fairclough tries to stay with them. And Rashid Al Daheri's having to go very defensive on Freddie Slater behind him. Slater's got an opportunity, so is Nakamura-Berta. Rashid Al Daheri trying to keep them up by Falcons at bay. Slater's drawn level. Watch out for Kia Nakamura-Berta. He'll get a chance. Al-Azhari's got a good run off the final turn. He's now swarming around behind Nikita Bedrin. Bedrin desperately trying to shake him off his back. Harry and Slater are side by side. Nakamura Bird is going to draw level with them. And here comes Al-Azhari trying to make his bid round the outside of Bedrin. Can he go for it? They're side by side. And it's 3 wide further back. Al-Azhari tries to keep his foot in. He has to hang back. But when he rejoins the circuit, he's going to be ahead of Bedrin. And that's one of the Mumbai Falcons going wide. And Bedrin has got back in front of Al-Azhari, so there will be no penalty for Al-Azhari. That's good news. We wanted this race to be a pure one. I don't want either of them to get a penalty. I want them to fight it out like men, and that's exactly what they're doing. Fairclough is close enough. Whoops, in the background, Thiago Rodriguez goes wide. Rashid Al-Harry goes slightly airborne, manages to get it together again. Freddie Slater is still in the mix, but Thiago Rodriguez has got it. The Chinese F4 champion, Rodriguez, is through, and so is Zach Scholar. So interestingly, it looks to me as though Slater has dropped back. Nakamura Berta has held 4th position in front of Al-Harry. Here comes Al-Azhari for the lead. He's fractionally in front of Bedrin. Bedrin's going to break late. If Keanu Al-Azhari is wise, he's going to be focusing on where Bedrin's going to be vulnerable. It won't be the next turn, it'll be the one after it. Here comes the bid from Al-Azhari. He tries again on Nikita Bedrin. Bedrin's going to hold the middle of the road. Is Al-Azhari going to commit? Not quite. Oh, pick your moment. Never easy. Oh, we've got safety car again. We've got safety car again out on the circuit. So something has happened somewhere, but we've got safety car a second time, and I'm not entirely sure what it is that's brought it out. But I noticed that Matteo Quintarelli is down the order and has not come through by the look of it. So is it Matteo Quintarelli that's in trouble? But we've got safety car out on circuit again. And I think it's turn 15 where there is a stoppage. So turn 15, oh, right, there it is. I've just picked it up. It's on the exit of this corner. So you might be able to see it in the background. There's a car, there it is. It's Matteo Quintarelli, and he's gone in fairly hard, and somebody else's wing has gone with him. Oh, bitter disappointment for Matteo Quintarelli. Top 10 in the championship coming into this weekend, and rightly so. But he's had an absolute nightmare in his hometown. Well, bitter disappointment. Let's see what happened. Whoa, big moment. 3 cars involved. And one of them is the PHM-AIX of Kamal Murad. I didn't quite see who the other one was. But certainly 3 cars involved in that incident. I think it was actually Max Popov and Kamal Murad. So the 2 PHM-AIX cars getting together in there with Alves, sorry, not with Alves Rodella. He's already gone, with Matteo Quintarelli of Santalot. So into the pits, all ready to change wing and tyres. That appears to be Max Popov. I went and look at the background. You can see that there's big damage to Chester Kiefer's car, which is why he was out of the race. But there's Matteo Quintarelli. Not what he wanted at all. Doesn't deserve to be sat on the sidelines in this one, but I'm afraid that's exactly what has befallen him. So Matteo Quintarelli's car is obviously going to be recovered. Incident at turn 15 will be investigated after the race. Let's have a look back at the start. This was a good one for both Al-Azhari and Bedrin, but watch Deegan Fairclough, 6th position. He's not quite in sight yet. He's behind a Mumbai Falcon, but watch him pop out to the left. The 3 cars are side by side. Slater, Nakamura, Berta, and Al-Harry. Here comes Fairclough. Enough of this. I want a podium. Here we go. Slices his way through. Majestic start from Fairclough. I thought it was Gabriel Stilp who was the Gilles Villeneuve of F4. Apparently Fairclough wanted a bit more of it. There's the retirement from Alves Rodella, and he was very unhappy about it. Just watch the squabble as they come through, as Thiago Rodriguez has to take avoiding action and then get himself back onto the road again. Now, are we going to see what happened further round? Because we saw a big start problem for Dorian Pin. I wonder if she got squeezed off the road. Well, there is a couple of moments already incoming. So there's Dorian Pin with Dion Gouda at the inside. Liu Kai-shun having an incident. And he spun the car in all of that and managed to get going again. I wonder if there was a couple of other incidents we needed to pick up on, essentially. But certainly some dramas all around. Ah, that's why Chester Kiefer retired from the race. I didn't see the car from that angle. How did he drive it round the course with effectively 3 wheels? Chester Kiefer, he got it back to the pits. I hadn't seen the car from that angle. Chester Kiefer, he's the real Gilles Villeneuve, isn't he? He's driven that car on 3 wheels around the whole circuit. And yeah, it was Popov and Kamal Murad that came in there with Matteo Quintarelli. That's why we're currently under safety car. But Chester Kiefer, Somebody should give him one of those Harley-Davidson trikes. He certainly knows how to drive on 3 wheels. He could be the best Reliant Robin driver of the 21st century. Absolutely incredible. Well, a very tough race end for Chester Kiefer. So now we've got 28 cars left in the race, because we have retirements for Matteo Quintarelli, Razor Swerven, Enzo Ye, Chester Kiefer and Alves Rodella. So they are the retirements. Everybody else has been able to essentially just keep themselves to themselves and keep it going. Well done to everybody who is braving the early morning back home in Europe, whether it's 6:45 in Central European, or whether it's 5:45 in the morning back in the UK, or for those who have decided to stay up in Miami and in Kingston Town, Jamaica, who've not gone to bed yet because they wanted to see how Alex Powell gets on in this race. Well, hopefully you're all being rewarded with another exciting encounter. Let's talk you through the top 10. It hasn't really changed since the previous safety car period. Nikita Bedrin on pole position, converting it into a lead. Keanu Alazari in second. Deegan Fairclough, after that magic start, is third. Then fourth is Kian Nakamura-Berta now. Fifth is Rashid Al-Heri. Sixth is Zach Scholar. Seventh is Freddie Slater. It's all tumbling for the British driver. Eighth is Thiago Rodriguez. Ninth is Enzo Deligny. And 10th is Alex Powell. Now, if you are Matthew Norman, you're having kittens right now, because Keanu Alazari is in second position and Freddie Slater is down to 7th. So that means that your driver is about to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And he doesn't even have to overtake Nikita Bedrin to do so, the way things are currently stacked up. There are a few drivers trying to make a bit of a comeback in this race, particularly the likes of Gilles Caranta, Sebastian Murray, and in particular Ivan David, who I said earlier was charging his way through the field, is now 18th. So he really is making big headway of the field. Here we go again. Lights are off on the safety car. I didn't think it was going to be a long one. So the safety car is in. And Nikita Bedrin's got to try and time this restart to perfection, especially knowing how quick Keanu Alazari is. But Keanu Alazari will be very motivated to get past Nikita Bedrin. Don't forget, the man in front of him is not just returning to F4, but he's doing so from the Formula 3 paddock. So it will be a big feather in the cap if he can beat him. But Bedrin has really nailed the restart. And Alazari may have problems dealing with Deegan Fairclough rather than going for the lead on this restart. So the drivers work their way through. They're hoping to get the final turn right. Enzo Deligny trying to have a go at Thiago Rodriguez on the restart. And it's green, 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 green. We're off again for the third time in Dubai Autodrome's third race. So off we go, and already there's a couple of drivers popping out for a look. Enzo Deligny trying to go for Thiago Rodriguez. Jack Beaton trying to shake off Jules Caranta. Down to the first corner, Fairclough's going to have pressure from Nakamura-Berta, who locks up big time. Fairclough is holding firm, doing the brilliant Gandalf impression, "You shall not pass." And Rashid Al-Heri now trying to take on Kian Nakamura-Berta. They work their way through the S's again. This is not going to be easy to hold on to for Deegan Fairclough. Look how wide he's able to take it. The car just slides through like one of those crazy carts in a shopping centre. Amazing stuff for Fairclough to hold on to it, though. Manages to keep it together. Rashid Al-Heri still putting under pressure Nakamura-Berta, but Freddie Slater's got to get back on the horse here. The next one, oh, Rashid Al-Heri goes out wide. Manages to bring it back on. Zach Scholar is there in 6th position, so Zach Scholar hoping for an opportunity to charge forward. Bedrin still thinks that Keanu Alazari is going to be too fast to get away from. Here comes the bid from Nakamura-Berta. Dives, dives, dives! Fairclough is not going to let him have it easy. They're still side by side. Brit versus Brit. Fairclough in front of Nakamura-Berta, and Fairclough will not budge. Try something else, Kian. Holds the inside line. Rashid Al-Heri now trying to go the long way round Nakamura-Berta. Nakamura-Berta trying to cut in for the inside of Fairclough. Al-Heri round the long way. This is going to be very close. Who's going to emerge in third? They're almost rubbing wheels. Trading paint all the way down to the braking zone. Fairclough, Nakamura-Berta, Al-Heri. Here's the opportunity for Rashid Al-Heri. And the Emirati's going to split them up the middle. Surely he can't hold that. He drifts out wide. But he'll have the inside line for the next apex. He has to let Nakamura-Berta go. Oh my goodness, terrific racing for the final spot on the podium. Nakamura-Berta slightly wide. An opportunity for Al-Heri. He's going to try and take it. Nakamura-Berta protects. Here goes Zach Scholar. He's going to try and take on his teammate. How close were they to contact? That's going to be enough for Freddie Slater. He's going to take the initiative. Up to 6th position he'll go. In the background, you've got Stelp battling away with Caranta. And here's Alazari for the lead on Bedrin. Where do you look? So many things going on at once. And look at Al-Azhari all over Bedrin. They've got well clear thanks to Fairclough and Nakamura Berta battling. So Al-Azhari trying to challenge for the lead here. He really has got Bedrin hunted down. But he needs to make the move if he's going to take the win quickly, because there's so much banter going on behind. We could end up with another safety car before too long. So he'll want to get the lead early. He's right with him. If he gets the run off the turn, he has to think about it into the left-hander. But he's really going to want to size him up at the end of the back straight. And Bedrin knows it. He's trying to shake him off. Fairclough in third. Then Nakamura Berta, still Al-Daheri, then Slater ahead of Scholar, Rodriguez, Deligny, and that appears to be Dion Gouda. Oh, no, sorry, that's Alex Powell. Here we go. Al-Daheri breaks, Al-Azhari, apologies, breaks late. Can't get the move. Keanu Al-Azhari trying this way, trying that way. Nikita Bedrin blocking like crazy. Keanu Al-Azhari has a great chance to take the lead. Can he dive to the inside line? No, Bedrin protects again. Slow in, fast out. Is it going to be enough for Keanu Al-Azhari to take on Bedrin? Bedrin is really going to try and block. Al-Azhari's got to try and anticipate where Bedrin's going to place the car. He goes long. He's going to have to go wide of the hairpin. That's where Bedrin's going to place him, but he's going to get alongside again. Can he chop back across? Oh, Bedrin is masterful at placing his car in exactly the right place to keep the lead. Al-Azhari's really got to do his homework now. He drifts a little bit wide. He can reset. He's going to need a decent exit off the final turn. He even has to think about it into the final corner. Bedrin getting nervous. We're running short on time. 9 minutes, roughly. So Al-Azhari still has plenty of chances. Bedrin trying to shake him off. He does not want him to get the draft. So he won't go for the move into the first corner this time because he's just not close enough, but he can size him up ready for the next couple of corners. Al-Azhari, the hunter. Nikita Bedrin, the hunted. Keanu Al-Azhari in the Yazid Academy car, the blue and black machine, the local team, taking on PHM AIX, the guys from just far down the road from the Nürburgring. Excellent racing in F4 UAE. Every one of the races here in Dubai has been terrific to watch and to observe. Al-Azhari trying to take on Bedrin with a slightly alternative line, looking for a bit more out of the turn. And down the back straight we go again. Bedrin desperate to shake off Keanu Al-Azhari. Fairclough still holds third from Nakamura Berta, Al-Daheri and Freddie Slater. Can Keanu Al-Azhari go big on the brakes? Bedrin's anticipated it. Al-Azhari's going to stay to the normal racing line. Bedrin's going to squeeze him back. Stalemate again as Al-Azhari has a think about it into the left. Bedrin runs out wide. Cannot afford to deal too hard with the pressure. You can't afford to cook the tyres too hard. As into the pits to retire comes Everett Stack. So Everett Stack, the American for the PHM AIX team, is now in pit lane and he's out of it as well. Braking zone. Where is Keanu Al-Azhari going to place his car? He needs to keep Nikita Bedrin guessing. That's how you beat him. That's how you get the overtake. Keep him guessing. Bedrin's got all the cards, but all Keanu Al-Azhari needs is a well-crafted joker up his sleeve, and he can take this lead away. But the time is ticking. 6 minutes 48. Plus the additional lap, of course. Once the time runs down to 0, there'll be one more lap to go. So still they battle. Still Bedrin feels he cannot get away from Keanu Al-Azhari. He has to shake him off down the straight. Fairclough in a similar problem with Nakamura Berta, Al-Daheri and Slater. Is Al-Azhari going to commit? Commit! He's going for it! He's going for it! To the inside! Bedrin's trying to squeeze him! Oh, so close! They almost hit each other! And now Keanu Al-Azhari will try again. Absolutely on the limit. If he'd have just rolled off the brake by a metre, he might have had the victory. He might have had the place. But he knows how close he can get, and he's really putting Bedrin in hot water here. Bedrin protects. Al-Azhari's going to swing out of the corner. He'll try and slingshot him. Hasn't been able to do so. But the more they battle, the more they bring the guys in third, fourth, fifth, sixth into the contest once again. So Al-Azhari needs to anticipate what Bedrin's going to do. So Bedrin's going to try and shake the toe. Al-Azhari will go with him. He's clearly faster than Bedrin. So now he's just got to try and find where the opportunity is going to come. Will he go very wide to make the move this time? Bedrin knows it's coming. Al-Azhari will carry on committing. And then he has to bail out of it because Bedrin just goes further. This is fascinating. How do you beat Nikita Bedrin? He is such an amazing defenseman. Keanu Al-Azari's got to be brave, he's got to be bold, and he's got to be daring if he's going to get the job done. Now there is the battle for third, and it's an absolute whitewash. Look at it. Fairclough battling away with Nakamura Berta, Aldeheri, and Freddie Slater. The four of them are having a give up. Nakamura Berta goes off the road trying to beat Fairclough. I'm sorry, but that's not the racetrack. Now he goes to the other side. This time he is on the racetrack, and they're side by side. They drift out wide. Rashid Aldeheri staying hungry on the inside line. He goes side by side with Nakamura Berta. Can't get through. Has to roll back. Looking for another chance. And Keanu Al-Azari locks up in his bid to try and put off Nikita Bedrin. Fairclough in third still. Nakamura Berta, Rashid Aldeheri, and Freddie Slater. Stalemate between the two of them. And still the leaders are squabbling away. Zach Scholar goes wide, as does Gabriel Stilp in the background. Bedrin still under pressure from Keanu Al-Azari. This is intoxicating, this battle. As Al-Azari again defends further back. We're going to get Rashid Aldeheri taking on Nakamura Berta. Freddie Slater fancies his chances. This is so close. Aldeheri on the curbs, the car wobbles. Freddie Slater's going to have momentum. Can he go right round the outside? Freddie Slater, what a move! Absolutely magnificent. Into P5. Deals with the situation, goes the long way round. Thank you, buddy. I'll take back my P5 status. Brilliant from Freddie Slater. That's more like it. That's exactly the kind of move he needs to make. But he runs a little bit wide. Aldeheri now has a chance to come back at him. Look at Al-Azari. Closer to Bedrin at this point down the back straight than we've ever seen. Bedrin is married to the white line on the inside line now. Al-Azari trying his best. He puts himself a fraction in front for a moment, then Bedrin goes long on the brakes. Keanu Al-Azari is doing everything he possibly can. Can he commit in the left? No, he can't get there. Shades of Senna and Mansell in Monaco 92. Just cannot find a way through. He's doing everything he possibly can. He's trying every trick in the book. But Bedrin has read the script clearly. Down to the braking zone again. 3 minutes on the clock. What have you got left, Keanu? Bedrin chops across to the inside line, making sure that there's no access point for Keanu Al-Azari. It's pretty close for third as well. Again, Fairclough goes wheel to wheel with Nakamura Berta. Now Freddie Slater's got a chance to get up alongside him. And Slater's going to have a great run off the turn. Nakamura Berta's not going to spot it until it's too late. Slater's to the inside. Nakamura Berta's got to try and roll right round the outside of Fairclough now to hold on to fourth position and go for third simultaneously. And it works. Nakamura Berta holds fourth. Now he's got a run on Fairclough. He's going to be up against the pit wall. Al-Azari can't go for Bedrin yet, but Nakamura Berta's going to take the podium away from Fairclough. What a move from Kier Nakamura Berta. So much talent in F4 UAE this season. As Rodriguez goes wheel to wheel with Scholar, and they just rub wheels. But somehow they avoid big contact as Thiago Rodriguez comes back into it, making the bid on Zach Scholar, and there's damage for Aldeheri. Aldeheri's got front wing damage. Oh no! The Emirati is out of it by the look of it. His wing has gone, and Rashid Aldeheri will have zero grip to bring him to the end of this race. Bitter heartbreak for Rashid Aldeheri. Such great racecraft this weekend. And this race has just fallen apart for Rashid Aldeheri. The wing is any second now going to detach from the car, and he has no option but to limp back to the pits. Bitter, bitter goal for Rashid Aldeheri. He deserved so much more than that. He's just trying to get it home, and as a result, Powell's going to get a move on the inside of Deligny. Scholar's already got past Rashid Aldeheri, but now Deligny and Powell are side by side. And here's Fairclough trying to shake off Slater. Two very talented British drivers, very different routes that they've taken to get to this point. Freddie Slater's done the traditional karting in Europe all the way up, become European and world champion in different disciplines, now finds himself in F4. Deegan Fairclough has had to grind. He's had everything, blood, toil, tears, sweat. Now he finds himself locked in combat with Slater. He's prepared to squeeze him though. Oh, goodness me. Fairclough, that was a proper left hook of a boxer. Don't even think about it, Freddie. You're not getting past. Terrific defensemanship from Deegan Fairclough as poor Rashid Al-Aheri limps back to the pits, and we've had a spin. It's the 56, it's Chuyan Pu. So Chuyan Pu, and he's got damage to the front nose, but he's able to keep going. I don't think we'll have a safety car. Bedrin still defending up front to Al-Azari as Nakamura Berta has got clear in third position. Slater now trying to go the long way round Deegan Fairclough. Is that it, says Deegan? Is that all you got? Come on, try a proper overtake. Amazing battle of the Brits up front. F4 racing really is absolutely the bee's knees. This is terrific racing. There's nothing quite like these determined young scallywags trying to work their way up to Formula One, and they will literally throw anything they can at it to pull off a good move. But the racecraft just keeps getting better every single year. Bedrin still trying to throw Al-Azari off the toe. Al-Azari still coming at him. But the time has ticked down to 0 already. So now Keanu Al-Azari needs to try again. Can he get Nikita Bedrin? So the time has run out. And we are now very much in danger zone territory. So now it all comes down to, is there going to be one last chance for Keanu Al-Azari to get past Nikita Bedrin? It's tough to know. Time has been done now for about a minute, so there should be, technically, one more lap after this one. But we've been caught out before. So Keanu Al-Azari's got to stay hungry. Bedrin's got to stay ruthless. Al-Azari to the hairpin again. Bedrin tucks out a little wide, guts it back in again. Al-Azari is still very close to him. The final corner coming up. And Bedrin goes a little bit sideways. Can Keanu Al-Azari do anything about it? Out of the turn, onto the home straight. Oh, we've had contact further back. Fairclough and Rodriguez have come together. Into the last lap we go. Fairclough and Rodriguez have come together. Rodriguez is on the top of Fairclough's car. Now, that could end up being a safety car. Into the final lap. Al-Azari still working hard to get Bedrin, and we've had a spinner out of the final turn. It's Rafael on the rack. Rafael on the rack has spun in the final corner. Drama in the closing stages. But Rodriguez and Fairclough are still at the corner, with Rodriguez on top of Fairclough's car. And the race is still going strong. We're not under safety car yet. We're not under checkered flag conditions yet either. So Al-Azari still racing Bedrin. Well, this is a tough situation now for the officials. What do they do? Rodriguez and Fairclough have both got out of their cars. Is it safety car? Yes, it is. Safety car. Well, what an anticlimax. Bedrin is going to take the win in front of Keanu Al-Azari. With Nakamura Berta in third, Freddie Slater in fourth, Zach Scholar in fifth from Deligny, Caranta, Powell, Stilp and Sebastian Murray. How did it all go wrong for Fairclough and Rodriguez? Well, fortunately, they're both walking away. The race is going to finish on a safety car. Let's see what happened. Right, there's Fairclough. And Rodriguez is just going to banzai. He's on the curbs. Whoops. Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, they're both very lucky men. They got away with that, but yeah, Deegan Fairclough's not happy at all with Thiago Rodriguez. And so the race is going to finish under safety car. Well, it was almost inevitable. But what a dramatic race. What a dramatic race that was. Well, very unhappy Deegan Fairclough. Very unfortunate. But the race is going to end under safety car, and it's going to be 2 victories for Nikita Bedrin, and Keanu Al-Azari is going to take second position. But with Freddie Slater working his way back into 4th position, that means that going to the 4th round of the championship next week at Yas Marina, the title lead has been cut to just 2 points. This is a battle royale for the championship now as Nikita Bedrin rounds the final turn. The checkered flag is in the air. Bedrin gets the victory twice out of 3. Nikita Bedrin is suddenly a factor in this title fight. Excellent work for Nikita Bedrin. That's going to put him onto 124 points now, with Freddie Slater on 135 and Keanu Al-Azari is going to be on 131. This is now a 3-way fight for the championship. What a sensational run. In fact, technically, with Nakamura Berta in third, I would actually argue it's a four-way fight for the championship because he's going to be on 113. So for my money, there are 4 drivers fighting for this championship now. Slater, Al-Azadi, Bedrin, and Nakamura Berta. And they just finished in the top 4. Not necessarily in that order. This is an amazing battle for the championship now. 4 drivers very much in the hunt. Freddie Slater, Keanu Al-Azadi, Nikita Bedrin and Kia Nakamura Berta, and they will fight for the championship. Now, don't worry, both drivers are out of the car. Deegan Fairclough is there to the right, assisting. They're just double-checking, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine, says Deegan, I'm just fed up. But Nikita Bedrin, what a master tactician. He should be a defender for a Premiership football club. Knows exactly how to stop the winning move. Absolutely incredible drive from Nikita Bedrin, and PHM AIX will take a very deserved second victory of the weekend. Here's what happened that brought out the safety car. Rodriguez saw the gap, went for it, it wasn't quite on, and sadly, he and Deegan Fairclough out of the race. Goodness me, Fairclough actually went airborne there as well. So a rather messy end. They're just double-checking, the medical team down there, just checking with both drivers out there. They're checking to see if Thiago's okay. And yes, he's all right, fortunately. The very safe race cars that we've got now these days. A very dramatic incident like that, and drivers can walk away from it. Very much to the praise and the fantastic work that all of the guys at Tartus do, developing these fantastic race cars, make them very safe these days. Obviously, no racing car is 100% safe, but they can certainly be safer. Nikita Bedrin enjoying his cool-down lap, really enjoying his run to the podium. Well, what a dramatic race. Nikita Bedrin, Keanu Al-Azadi and Kia Nakamura Berta on the podium. The championship leader, 4th place. What a battle we've got. Best of the rest, can we just point out, Zach Scholar. Great performance from him, finally getting a decent result. And a very deserved 5th position. Enzo Deligny coming home in P6, the Red Bull youngster. Gilles Caranta, what a comeback from him. Brought the Santaloc up into P7. 8th place for Alex Powell. And then the 2 high-tech Pulsate drivers, Gabriel Stilp and Sebastian Murray, in the points, and very deservedly so. Unfortunately, it had to come at the expense of Thiago Rodriguez and Deegan Fairclough, who both deserved to be in the top 6. But it wasn't to be in the end. So, as that wreckage gets cleared away, the podium ceremony is going to be very exciting indeed for Nikita Bedrin, for Keanu Al-Azadi, and for Kia Nakamura Berta. There is Nikita Bedrin, makes his way to the winning position in pit lane, and he will climb from his car, and he will be very, very happy indeed with what he has achieved. 2 wins out of 3, and suddenly thrust into the vanguard of the F4 UAE title fight. Well done to Nikita Bedrin. A miserable start to the season, but now he's on fire. And a 3rd victory of the season. He now has more wins than any other driver in F4 UAE in 2024. So this is absolutely game on for Nikita Bedrin and the PHM AIX team. Through the highlights we go. You'll watch some amazing best bits. There were plenty of them. And we're going to make our way to the podium, where we will greet Kia Nakamura Berta in 3rd, Keanu Al-Azadi in 2nd, and Nikita Bedrin in 1st. But the big headline here is, after an epic race, we have a 4-way title fight.
An amazing fight. He takes his third win of the season. More wins than any other driver in F4 UAE so far. It's now my honor to invite Fang Yuan from Top Speed, who will present the trophies to our drivers. Starting with our racer in third position for the United Kingdom and the Mumbai Falcons racing team, Kian Nakamura Berta. And second for the United Arab Emirates and the Yazid Academy, Keanu Al-Azhari. And finally to our race winner for Italy and PHM AIX, Nikita Bedrin. Finally for the Rookie Cup, the victory goes the way of Kian Nakamura Berta for the United Kingdom. A fabulous performance, and what a great race. We've had a trio of amazing encounters here in F4 UAE, and now we've got a 4-driver title fight heading to the 4th round of the championship. Let's get all 3 drivers on the top step of the podium. So the competitors will be together. What a title fight. 4 drivers now separated by just about 20 points, I think, going to the next round of the championship. So now the drivers can celebrate in style, and they will party here in the Dubai sunshine. Let's get busy with the fizzy. The 3 teams that will fight for the championship, the 3 of the 4 drivers that will do so heading to Yas Marina next week. What a battle it's going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, Kian Nakamura Berta, Keanu Al-Azhari, and your race winner, Nikita Bedrin. There is one more race to come, of course, as we head to Formula Regional Middle East up next. But from F4 UAE, they'll be back 6 days' time at Yas Marina.